Hadush Kebatu is back behind bars awaiting deportation, but the row about how on earth the convicted migrant sex offender was mistakenly released has only just begun. Today, the Justice Secretary told MPs he was livid.
This was a mistake that should not have happened. The victims expect better, the public expects better, and this government expects better from a critical public service.
The Conservatives said he was to blame.
Calamity Lammy strikes again. It's a national embarrassment. And today, the Justice Secretary feigns anger at what's happened. He says he is livid Kebatu was mistakenly let out.
Prison officer numbers were cut under his watch, and he comes here and has the brass neck to give the impression that this started just 14 months ago.
Hadush Kebatu was due to be released from HMP Chelmsford and transferred to an immigration removal centre. But just before 10:30, he was released into the community due to what the government says was human error. Shortly after noon, concerns were raised to the duty prison governor and prison staff were sent out to locate him before Essex police launched a manhunt. Early on Sunday, Kebatu was spotted by a member of the public and arrested in Finsbury Park in North London. But he isn't the only person wrongly let out. More than 250 prisoners were released in error last year. The government now says it will introduce stricter release measures, including more checks from senior staff. But some say it will take time to fix.
The government are accountable for this situation. You know, there is a lack of funding. There is there's a serious lack of training in the service. We are massively in crisis in the prison service, and it's been known about for years, and nothing's changed.
Hadush Kebatu is due to be deported to Ethiopia within days. The fallout from his mistaken release will likely last much longer. Well, it's hard to overestimate just how embarrassing Friday's mistaken release of Hadush Kebatu was for the government. David Lammy has tonight announced an independent investigation to try and find out what happened, and one member of staff at HMP Chelmsford has been suspended from their duties. We've heard a lot in the last few years about the pressures facing the prison system. This is an extreme example of the sort of mistakes that are taking place.
Harry Horton at Westminster, thank you. Now, the government has wasted billions of pounds on hotels for asylum seekers, according to a group of MPs. The Home Affairs Committee said expected costs have tripled to more than £15 billion. It said hotels were part of a chaotic response to illegal migration. Well, Sam Holder has been looking into this. Sam, what else did the report say?
Well, Mary, this report is scathing in its criticism of the Home Office, citing flawed contracts, incompetent management, the contribution to community tensions, but especially just how much these hotels are costing us all. In 2019, it was expected that asylum accommodation contracts would cost £4.5 billion over 10 years. Now, it's likely the cost will be more like £15 billion, so triple the original estimate. Why? Mostly, it's down to a huge increase in the number of asylum seekers who need accommodation, from 47,500 in 2018 to 103,000 in June this year. Of these, around a third are currently living in hotels. Now, during the pandemic, the Conservative government began using hotels far more regularly because it was somewhere to put asylum seekers during the restrictions. According to the report, what was supposed to be a stopgap has now become the go-to solution. Adding to the pressure, a dramatic rise in the number of small boat crossings and the fact that during the failed Rwanda resettlement scheme, the Conservative government paused asylum applications. So now there's an enormous backlog of people waiting for a decision. Significantly, this report also criticises the Home Office for failing to engage with and understand the concerns of communities. The hotels are concentrated in already deprived areas where rooms are cheap, putting pressure on local services. Now, the government has committed to ending the use of hotels by 2029. But according to this cross-party committee, there is currently no clear long-term plan for how.